Instead of going through a list of all the positives about Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then a list of all the negatives, I figured, screw that boring shit. Also, if you're easily offended or triggered, you probably want to leave now. It's my belief that for every pro or positive about anything, there is an equal and opposite con or negative about the same thing. Let me give you a quick example. We have freedom of speech.
Freedom.
Which is a positive about living in America. And with that comes the con of having to hear out what others have to say, like me. But if you stick around, I'm going to give you the inside insight no one else has the guts to tell you in their pros and cons. I can promise you that. Now let's get down to a list of pros and their cons of living in Philadelphia Metro. Let's talk about marijuana first. Marijuana is easily accessible in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. You will need a medical marijuana card in Pennsylvania, and in New Jersey, it's legalized for recreational use in adults over 21. As you can imagine, some people see this as a very big positive, and others find it to be one big negative. Now, on the positive side, you've got a new industry creating jobs and tax revenue. You've got actual medical benefits for some of the users. No more fear of jail time just for having a joint. And of course, it's safer than buying it on the street. But on the flip side, looking at the negatives, there are health risks when used in excess, especially when you are smoking or vaping. Then there's the potential for addiction. And if you've got kids, you might have to explain the funny smell in the air. You will definitely find it wafting around more now than ever before. The other issue that I can't stand is the slowpoke drivers. You don't need to see smoke wafting out the windows to tell that the person in front of you is stoned. And now that it's pretty much legal, is it even cool anymore? I want your feedback about these videos. I might not give what you have to say, but I still appreciate your perspective. My name is Dawn D'Amico. I'm a licensed realtor in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and I've lived in the Philly Metro all my life. And this video could be hours long if you really want all the dirt on living in Philadelphia. If you're considering a move and want more content like this to help you decide if this place is right for you, you might want to like, subscribe, and comment, maybe even share, but that's your choice. It's America, remember? And ask me your questions about living in the Philadelphia Metro, including New Jersey. If you're making a move into or out of the area, let's connect and see if working together makes sense. And I've got great agents all over the world. So if you are somewhere else besides PA or New Jersey, I can certainly connect you with the right agent for your needs. All my contact details are below. Now let's get into the craft food and adult beverages. If you're a foodie, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is the place for you. And we're not just a wasteland of cheesesteaks and soft pretzels. The Philly Metro is full of culinary diversity. You can find anything your heart, stomach, or taste buds desire. As you can imagine, there are pros and cons to this. On the positive side, Philly is a city where you can take a journey around the world through taste with all the craft food and drink options in and around Philadelphia. Philadelphia residents and visitors love this about our city, and it should be called the City of Heavenly Food instead of the City of Brotherly Love. If you work in the food and beverage scene, there are lots of opportunities for you here. Philly takes food seriously, and its craft brewers and chefs focus on local ingredients, which help support the local economy. Most craft establishments are also owned by locals who seek to foster a sense of community. You might find them hosting events, tastings, and workshops, which is a fantastic way to meet new people in your new Philadelphia neighborhood. And on the negative side of all this food and beverage bonanza goodness, Philly Metro has an obesity rate of 30% in adults. I don't need to tell you that craft beer and rich foods come with higher calories and a bigger waistline. I am in a constant battle of the Philly food and beer bulge myself. I'm not gonna play. Plus, it's way more expensive because craft food and beverage establishments focus on small batches, high quality, and specialty ingredients. So expect it to cost a hell of a lot more than a Bud Light and dinner at Mickey D's. And this might make some people feel left out of the Philly food scene if they're on a smaller budget. Also, if you're thinking of coming here to open up a brewery or restaurant, be prepared. With a high number of craft food and beverage places, competition can be intense from already well-established Philly favorites. The other big negative to all this craft brewing is the increased demand on resources like water. I bet you didn't know that 4 to 7 barrels of wastewater are created for every 1 barrel of beer. Not only that, but all that wastewater needs to be disposed of properly. Now, okay, this isn't supposed to be some environmental soapbox, but I thought it was a pretty interesting fact. 1 barrel of beer creates 4 to 7 barrels of wastewater. Now let's get into nature. Nature is all around us, including the city and the suburbs. With this topic, we're going to start with the negatives. Let's talk about deer. Yes, they're cute, but if you live here for any length of time and you drive a car, you will hit a deer at some point. Yes, even if you live within the city limits, you will hit a deer. Deer and squirrels in this part of the Philly metro seem to have a death wish. They like to play chicken. People die swerving in order to not hit these animals, so be warned, keep your eyes open. The other negative about all this nature is Lyme's disease, caused by deer ticks. That's right, folks. Deer are large, and you can do your best to avoid them, but the ticks they carry, those little buggers, they're hard to see. And you could end up with a debilitating disease called Lyme's disease.
Lyme's disease.
Google it, you're welcome. Now you've got a good damn excuse not to go hiking. And let's get into the positives about nature in Philadelphia. In the Philly metro, we are surrounded by a diversity of nature. From beaches to mountain peaks to urban parks, depending on which part of the Philly metro you're living in, you can easily access the Pocono Mountains for hiking, fishing, hunting, pretty much anything your heart desires. Oh, and if you got a death wish like the wildlife around here, there's plenty of skiing options too. And for summer fun, residents of the Philly metro head down the shore to their favorite Jersey beach towns. In fact, many Philly residents own second homes and then go on to retire down the shore.
All the way down the shore.
Even within the city limits, you can immerse yourself in nature at one of our many green spaces like Fairmount Park, Rittenhouse Square, or the Schuylkill River Trail. You'll love taking a stroll, a bike ride, or having a picnic. Oh, and those squirrels, they'll be begging for your food. Just like perps don't fear the cops in Philly, the squirrels, they don't fear the humans. If you're a history buff, you will absolutely love all the historical sites in the city of Philadelphia and all around its suburbs too. If you're in the tourism or hospitality business, Philly can provide many avenues of opportunity. And if you're looking for a home that is not your typical cookie cutter style, you'll find it in Philadelphia. Historical structures add to the charm and character of Philadelphia's neighborhoods and suburbs. Now, on the flip side, look out. Old shit crumbles. The latest tragedy was in 2013 when a 4-story building that was being demolished collapsed on a neighboring building, resulting in death and injuries. And back in 2000, a dance club located at the end of a 91-year-old pier fell into the Delaware River, resulting in death and injuries. And Philly's water supply system is old. There have been water main breaks, disruptions in service, damage to streets and buildings. Older buildings often have outdated electrical systems and may lack modern safety equipment. Older homes have a way higher cost of maintenance. They have non-standard doors and windows and everything else, making everything a special order. If you buy a property that is registered as historic, you could be limited on allowable renovations. So check before you buy any historical building. Weather. Let's talk about the weather. We can't have a pros and cons video without talking about the damn weather, can we? Let's start off with the negatives. Philly weather will always give you something to bitch about. Although we don't get nearly as much snow as we used to, we get lots of ice storms. Sometimes in winter, it will be mild and rainy during the day, and when the sun goes down, the temps drop so low, they turn sheets of the streets into sheets of ice. And if you suck at driving on regular roads, you will really suck at driving on an ice skating rink. We do get a variety of weather in Philly, but sometimes it's all in one damn day. So pack a bag whenever you leave your house and never ever put away your seasonal clothes. Summer in Philadelphia can be hot and humid, with temperatures occasionally reaching over the 90-degree mark, 90 degrees Fahrenheit, or even higher. And that's when the stench of piss and people who don't own deodorant wafts all around the city. That's when those leftover COVID face masks will really come in handy. Philadelphia weather is generally mild and pleasant. Occasionally we will get a severe weather event like a thunderstorm, heavy rain, occasional hurricane or tropical storm, but temperatures are typically comfortable. Fall in this region is gorgeous with the changing foliage. Snowfall in the metro is few and far between anymore. And spring is always lush and green. And Philadelphians are happy to be out and about after a long winter. And summertime is made for festivals, barbecues, and the Jersey Shore. If you have lived in this area a long time, share with me below how you think our weather patterns have changed. Next up, let's talk about leading medical institutions and teaching hospitals. Depending on how you look at it, teaching hospitals and leading medical institutions have lots of pros and cons that can have serious consequences in life and death situations. On the positive side, if you're planning to go into the medical field, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania holds many opportunities for hands-on training and education. These types of cutting-edge and paving the path forward types of institutions are always involved in the latest clinical trials. They are innovating care practices and are updated with the latest medical advances. And for our underserved populations, many of these places offer medical screenings and free or low-cost healthcare services. This all sounds great, right? I don't know. If I'm having to go into the hospital for a procedure, do I want a student getting their hands-on experience during my surgery? Listen, I know enough doctors to know they got no sleep during residency, and mix that with an experience? I don't think so. Sorry, future docs. You can keep your cutting-edge technology too. I'll stick with the tried and true methods, thank you very much. I don't want to be your medical guinea pig. Nope, not today. But if you're moving here to practice medicine, or you want to let medical students take a crack at you, it's America and you're free to do so. Now, let's get into the Philly sports teams and their fans. Philly's sports fans' reputation precedes them. If you watch the news, you might think there's nothing positive about the rowdy Philly teams and their fans, but you'd be wrong. Philly teams have a very loyal and passionate fan base. They might be big losers sometimes, but it doesn't matter to their fans. They love an underdog, and their fans foster a community spirit that is unmatched. I recently sold a home that had Philly sports teams logos painted in mural style all over the finished basement walls. When I learned the owner had only been in the city for a few short years and was originally from New York, I was really curious about his obsession with Philly teams. He told me that he was never even a sports fan at all until he moved to Philly, and working with the guys at the office who were so passionate about their teams here made him a fan too. And for the negatives, Philadelphia sports fans, while very passionate and loyal, have been known for booing their own teams. The Eagles fans took out their frustrations on the Eagles by throwing snowballs at Santa. Phillies fans threw batteries at their own team for performing poorly. And of course, with any event where there's alcohol and rivalries, there have been fights with opposing fans. Philadelphia fans have high expectations for their teams, and they can become very impatient when they don't win or make dumb mistakes in their view. Despite my smart-ass sense of humor, I absolutely love helping people find the right place for themselves right here in Philly. If you have decided your heart is set on living somewhere in the Philly metro, reach out to me below. I love hearing from people who want to live in one of the best metros in the country. See you in the next video.